Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be playing some more the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I don't know what else to say other than that. But give me 1 second. I gotta tell the time. Yeah. Ugh, sorry about that. Also, last video or the one before that was my 460th video. So that's cool. That's cool. That's okay. 1 second. What time is it? It is exactly 1:08 p.m. Dang, I got up early, actually. I got up. Oh no, never mind. I turned off the alarm. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. Okay. One. One. Oh. Okay, just to make sure. Gotta look at it again. 1:09 p.m. Perfect. Hang on, hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you've actually taken the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see this screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Okay, that's great. What is my favorite time in the day? Definitely not 10:01, because that's when the alarm turns on. I don't know, like lunchtime, I guess? I don't know. What's your favorite time, guys? Oh yeah, forgot about that. The end is never the end, the end is never the end, it is never the end.
This is the
Uh-huh. Welcome back. Quit the game and then start it again. Well, that was easy. Oh, dang it. I'm gonna change this controller. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, got the right controller. I really don't know what endings that I need and that I haven't need to get. I know I got the.
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh yeah,
Stanley
also
decided to
that
go to the meeting
thing on
room.
the
Perhaps he had
computer
simply
was
missed
gone.
a memo.
Oh yeah, I need to do something. The bucket.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a door 5 times? Is that all you think a trophy is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks? Now, suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that
Hi, Dad.
warrants recognition.
I really just want.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket
Oh,
around.
it's Valentine's Day or Valentine's week. I gotta see. Look at these computers. Remember the ending where I went out of the window by climbing up on this chair? Okay, you gotta crouch. Remember this,
Yes,
guys?
whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley. What are you talking about? He screamed. You're a bucket! To this, the bucket furrowed its brow. No, said the bucket. Not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No! Stanley screamed even louder this time. This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this? As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
Okay, that was gonna be the thing. Whatchamacallit? Ooh. Did I ever close this door?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility?
What?
He had never been
What?
trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh, that's what I was hearing.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps I simply
No matter
missed a
how hard Stanley
memo.
looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
No matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find a trace of my coworkers.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Sales in this quarter. With the boss. Dang it. Oh, it's all it says. This does not make sense.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I entered the door on the right.
This
I
was
gotta
not
show
the
you this
correct way to the
ending,
meeting
guys.
room, but Stanley
This
had
is one of
felt
my
the
favorite.
bucket calling to him.
I gotta turn critical off. Just for now.
Telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
It's
Was
like
this
there's
better
also
than the meeting
another
room?
ending where you
Yes,
just
Stanley
stay in
thought to
here
himself.
for
Yes,
like the
perhaps it
longest
truly
time.
was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
You coughing that?
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Everyone in there.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Everyone over there in that elevator with and without the bucket. This time I gotta go in here.
No,
Here,
said the bucket.
here.
Don't go
here.
to the meeting room.
Not
Go
that
somewhere
one,
else.
but
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Scape. Wait. No, I'm just kidding. Elevator. What's up?
Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
You're not even gonna say anything? Danger. Danger.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point.
Okay,
Stanley, how
there.
could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay. Okay, yeah, this is how you get to that ending. I love this ending. This is one of my favorites. Just wait. Is this
Now
a
then,
bucket?
I'm going to... run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you...
Okay. Great thing. Okay. Subtitles. Radical.
...is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not
No.
a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket? What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor.
Okay, I
It's an
thought you
enormous
said it
machine that
was.
tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Sorry. I thought he was gonna say, yes, there is a bucket in this.
Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
I knew it! Okay, what next?
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No way.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Huh? Weird.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore
Here we go.
nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go. What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How
Gosh.
could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket
Okay, right.
either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Here we go. Okay, that was great. That was a great ending. I wonder what happens if you get them
All of
all
his
right.
co-workers were gone.
Get them
What
all
could it
wrong.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps I missed a memo. Whew. I guess I gotta do endings. Just to even do something. I can't wait to get the ending where I boot up the game and it's press this button to bark. But I missed my mama. Okay, I gotta go that way
today?
again.
The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Yeah.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was
I'm
speaking
not going
to him.
back there.
It should have
Going
alarmed him,
here.
of course, because buckets
This is so
can't talk.
weird.
But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious
This is
fact.
a weird
He was
ending.
firmly convinced that the
You know
bucket
that
had
ending
spoken
where
to him, and
I
he
gotta go
unthinkingly did whatever
Wait.
the bucket asked.
I gotta go here again, cause you know why. 2 versions of this
In
ending.
here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
No.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is.
Oh, wait, you sure?
It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
Okay. I'm waiting.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, I'm Dunny with the funny. Now.
I'm Dunny with the funny. This is one of my favorites.
This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, with each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this
What the?
video is a little outdated,
Okay,
isn't
here.
it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's
I'm
head
Danny
back.
with the funny. That's great. Oh yeah, he did this last time too, I think. That's at the bucket. I'm Danny with the funny.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we have the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now?
I'm Danny.
Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
I'm Danny with the funny. That's the greatest line that I've ever heard. I'm Danny with the funny. Oh man. That's great.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land, or not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
What happens if I'm Danny with the funny?
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Okay.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley.
Okay.
I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame? Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Dang it. I thought he was gonna look up at me. I guess I didn't see it right. That's fine.
Stanley had never seen the office
Okay.
this brightly
There you go,
lit.
there.
Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Okay. Stop telling stuff differently. Doing it differently. Come on. Dang it. Oh. Ooh. The phone.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
Can I go in there again? Okay, I need to consider it.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Dummy with the funny.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the...
It's a weird
This
ending.
is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
What happens if I press this 66 times? No, that only works in a Star Wars game. Dude, you got a nice house. Whoa, can I go out? Ooh, just kidding. What? Okay, I sit here. 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, it's the Bucky. Let me make some food. I like my friend. I like my friend. Is that what it's saying? Smile. I need a hug. No, Stanley, it's me, your bucket. Press that button to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me.
Where's my
It's just
bucket?
a bucket. It can't think, it
It's not
can't
just a
talk.
bucket, it's my
All it will
friend.
ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Just ignore anyone in your life except for me.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley?
Yes, I
Yeah,
suppose
again,
on
this
closer
is the weird
inspection
ending.
that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Play this. Relive the same day with me.
Oh my God, what am I saying?
Gosh.
Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
To go home, to work, to home, to work, to home.
Oh no, I'm having feelings.
This is a weird
The
one.
bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Oh, awful. See, that's the weird ending. Go back to work, Stanley. Especially that ending part. What?
Ah, the embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Both of them. Both versions. Oof.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
I'm
He
trying.
had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
This is a story.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass.
But
and she backflipped all the way to work.
what the heck? Okay, I do like that. She backflipped all the way to work. That's great. Weird. Why is it skipping everything now?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Wait, I can get the...
Yet there was not a single person here either.
that one ending.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided
Can
to go
get that
up to his
achievement.
boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh yeah, I never got this one
Stanley walked straight
particular
ahead through the
ending.
large door that
This
read
one.
Mind Control
I'll go with the
Facility.
Come on, I got a speed run. Please tell me it's just 2
The
minutes.
lights rose on an enormous room
Come
packed
on,
with
come on.
television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many
I need this
individuals
too.
reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Sorry, guys.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
Did I ever do
For
this
it
something
was
with a
not
bucket?
knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
Eh,
Perhaps his
it's just
goal had not
the
been to
building won't let the
understand,
bucket out.
but to let
I don't
go.
need to do that.
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
What? How far through the stream are we? Dang it, still good. 48 minutes. 1 second.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Okay, 1 second, I'm trying to find this ending. In the Stanley Terrible. How to get... Okay, sorry. How get the different different come on, different, how to get the different Dang it, man. Man, dang it. Oh, here it is. Give me 1 second, I gotta see how to get this ending. Okay. Shout out to Philotes Games. I think that's how I spell it. That's great. Okay, 1 second. Messages. Okay. Resume the game. Okay. I can't take the bucket. Okay. Gotta go this way. This way. Dang, I went here like almost 4 times in a row.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
That's
Stanley
crazy.
knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been a... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Look, this room,
let me
guys.
prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
I couldn't.
Now listen
I don't
carefully,
think I
this is
could get
important.
through that.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Nope.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
I love this. This is one of my favorite.
I haven't even finished
This is my
building
favorite
section of the
ending.
map because you were never supposed to be here in the first
Well,
place. Broken rooms,
yeah, this is my
exposed
second
developer
favorite ending.
textures.
First
Is
one
this
is
what
the
you'd
adventure
wanted?
one.
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Oh, this door looks so cool.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
I didn't even get to see anything.
A 1?
1.
I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express
It's
itself
just a
mechanically
door.
and
I walked through a
artistically, but a
hallway
1?
into it.
That's not even
I
helpful.
went through a
What
door,
am I
walked
supposed
into
to
a
do with
hallway.
that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge.
It's not fair.
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Yeah, look. Peter. A leaderboard? What? What? Where's me? Stanley. Dude, I immediately went through the right door for this one. How dare you? I do have friends. How dare you? A dead rat. How dare you, narrator?
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind
I
taking a
should
look
have
at
given
it,
it
would you?
2,
Perfect. Let me
not
boot it up.
3. Even though it's like perfectly in the
In
middle.
this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep
I'm
notes
not
on
making
your
a 4-hour
experience.
stream. Ooh, I can take a beat hers. That's hey, one more. Ooh, what's that? But wait, no. Oh man.
You heartless bastard.
Hey.
Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
No.
Because if it's the latter, well, I
Got
don't know what to do.
distracted.
I'm completely out of
There was a
ideas.
butterfly
I
up
can't
there.
think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not
Also,
even going to try. I'm out.
I saw
I'm
we.
done.
Sorry,
It's
baby.
over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh,
Sorry.
hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we
This is
have
my
here?
favorite. Choose
Yes,
Undertale,
this
please.
seems
I
like
like
it'll work.
Undertale.
Let's give it a shot.
That would be great. Imagine if they did have Undertale in this.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is
Is
our
this
motivation?
Firewatch?
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for
No,
some
I'm a
sort of
fire
twisted
watcher.
erotic purpose.
I've never seen
Yes,
a horror
that
game
must be
version
it.
of this.
What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental
Fears to
depravity.
Fathom, I
So
think?
far, I love everything about this game,
Episode
Stanley.
4,
And it seems
5,
there's
maybe
even
6.
more.
Oh no,
Come,
one of them.
let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Oops. Is that? Oh. Was that a Roblox sound?
Oh no. No, it can't be.
Open game? Dude, this game
It
looks
is.
good.
It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
Oh, man.
Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that
Michael,
thing,
don't leave me in here,
just wandering
Michael.
around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
I actually do.
Out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay,
Whatever.
I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game.
I like this next
Preferably
game.
something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay.
I don't have this game in my library. I might play this. Next game. Yep, I might play this.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design.
This actually looks really good.
If you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Can I?
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together.
Yeah.
Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Keep it on your head. Ooh. Oh, no, no, man.
Are you doing it? Are you winning?
Right.
Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought.
Okay, now I
and
actually
realize I'm not a sportsologist.
Even though
but
I'm
if
bored.
one ball generates a... Hold on. What are you doing?
Whoa.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Can't wait to see this one game. Do I go in here? Where do I go? Where I go? Where do I go? Oh, dang it. Okay, so far this is one of my favorites. What? This reminds me of some kind of game. Hello? Light. The One Piece is real. The One Piece is real. Ooh, what's this? Is there a potato experiment? Okay, I think I went the wrong way. There is no wrong way.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it.
Can I play some more
He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Was I not supposed to go into that hole? What?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Stop.
When
I want
Stanley
to go-
came to
oh,
a set
man.
of two open doors,
Now I
this
gotta
was
go
not
back.
the direct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Here we go.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Is this Star Wars or something?
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting
I'm sorry,
the demands
baby.
of family life.
I just don't want to hear that.
The art world will really take notice.
Hey, sorry, I don't
the
like.
message of the game only becomes
You're not gonna
clear
get
once
hurt.
you've been
You
playing
just
it for about
cardboard.
4 hours.
Don't,
So
you
why
won't
don't
get
you
hurt.
give it 4 hours of
You're
play
just the
to make
baby.
sure it's effective. Be sure
Well.
to keep notes on your experience.
Sorry.
You heartless
Beep.
bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Take a sheep coffee. Take a sheep coffee. Wyoming, Wyoming.
Oh, no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off.
Right there.
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any...
Escape.
Thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay.
Could put me in Undertale.
I think this will be just the thing.
Maybe into now. Security breach.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun. Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
Sphere.
Yes. Oh, goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls.
Spheres. Oh, that's... Yeah.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley?
Yes.
Are you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over.
Oh,
That's
man.
right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
Leave next game. Okay, now it's not more that much fun. Narrator. Narrator. Fine. Like, fine. Look at the game ending again. Won't like it, but still. Look at this stupid game ending. Game. Okay. Come on. What could it mean? Me too. Perhaps he simply missed a memo. Okay, we'll have to push this volume down into that hole. Okay. In the original game, the original Stanley Parable, you could go into Minecraft and Portal. But in this one, you can go into Firewatch and Rocket League. Imagine he put you in Fall Guys or stuff like that.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you run?
Okay. Yeah, you're just supposed to go through here. It'll talk and it'll talk and it'll talk. And that's yeah, this is where it ends. Like you gotta go like 427. I never even noticed that. And then you gotta go like this. Bam. And then
I wonder
he'll
what he
do
found.
it.
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Okay. That's all. Okay, I'm trying to find out if there's like one more ending that I know of.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps I missed a memo. Yes, I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm trying to remember. There is one ending that I didn't do.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On my left.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
To be rich is a crime. To commit crimes isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. That doesn't rhyme. Okay, we're not doing that.
Stepping in.
I missed on that. Stanley walked through the red door. What happens if I go, or if I do this without the bucket? The bucket, the bucket, yes, the bucket. Escape. Oh, yeah. What? Escape? What? No. Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Okay. Weird. What?
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Lord. Dang it, I think there's only one escape pod.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the... The bucket did not react, except perhaps a tiny glow of warmth. Subtle, yes, but an unmistakable spark from somewhere deep within.
Remember if you... It's like if you do a number a lot of times, it'll do something. It's not 6.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Okay.
2845.
Dang it.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Dang it, I'm hungry. Okay.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Uh-oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold. Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
I'm gonna take a photo of that screenshot. That bucket was 2 animals.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket. There is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision for...
Ow. That hurt. What? What did you say?
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Is this what I get for present gifts for the boxes? Gosh, that's great. Okay. Okay, guys, that's the end of that is the end of the stream/video. I will see you guys